Welcome to Khetztutorials and welcome to the next video in the Python for Beginners series. In this video, we're going to talk about arithmetic operations. So arithmetic, that relates to maths, that relates to mathematical manipulation. So we can call our file arithmetical or arithmetic or P1. Now let's work on this file. I'm just going to clear the terminal from where we left off in the previous video. And let's talk about a scenario which I just came up with. So we're going to talk about a bunch of operations and I'm going to present them in the form of a scenario. So let's say we had two teenagers. One of them, we can have them labeled as age 1, is 16 years old, and the other is 17, right? And now these two teenagers are wondering, if we were to add our ages, what would be the result? Now the only way to find out, or the only way that we can see the result of these two, is if we print. So we're going to use print a lot to actually see the result of our arithmetic operators. So the first operator would be addition. So in Python, if you want to add two variables, the variables have to be in numerical form. So if you look at these two, they're ints or they're integers, and you can go ahead and add them up. Doesn't matter which one you start with. You can start with age 1 or age 2. If you add those, then expect to see the total. So if you look at that, we have 33, which is indeed the sum of 16 and 17. So that is addition over there. And now, what if we were to subtract the two ages? If you start with age 1 and you subtract the other, then expect to have a negative number because age 1 is actually smaller than that one. So 16 subtract 17 is indeed negative 1. If you swap them around, then you're going to have 1, which is 17 minus 16. So that is what to expect. So if you ever have variables or if you ever have values, you can even put actual values in here. Let's say 100 subtract 23 if you want to do it like that. So the values can either be stored in variables or you can just go ahead and print them like that if you have an equation or you have an expression. So let's clear the terminal and move on. So far we've covered, let's keep track of what we've covered so that we can come back to it when we summarize everything. So we've talked about addition, we moved on to subtraction, which we just covered now. And now let's move on to multiplication. What if you multiply these two ages? What if you multiply anything? This is the multiplication operation in Python. You have to use an asterisk. You can call it a star if you want. It's formally called an asterisk. And 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. You have a 6 over there. If you multiply the ages, which is from our little scenario or from what we have, you can do that. And the result of that will be 272. Let's clear the terminal so that we don't get confused with the results. So now we've also covered multiplication. So let's have it over there as well. And let's write the operations next to them. So for addition, use the plus sign. Subtraction, use the minus sign. Multiplication, use the asterisk. And let's move on to another one. Moving on to division. What if you wanted to divide the ages? Now the bigger one is age 2, so let's start with that. So you put this backslash over there. Was it called a forward slash? Which one is it? I do not know. So this is the operation that you use. I think it's a forward slash. It's actually the forward direction this way. Okay. And now this is the division operator. You can either have the stuff next to each other or you can space it out. Always depending on where you use it. Sometimes it's better to have space in between. Sometimes it's better to have it just close to each other. Doesn't really matter. So let's just leave it like this for now. And let's see what the result is. So if you divide 17 by 16, this is the result that you get, 1.0625. And there's also another division operator that we have, which is called floor division. So let's talk about division in two ways. There's division, which is, this one is the normal one. Then you also have floor division, which has 2 of these. Now what this means is it floors the number. So it eliminates You can also call this integer division because it just basically ignores the decimal part or the fractional part. So if you have 3.5, it won't round it up to 4. It will just omit the 0.5 and just write 3. That is the floor operation. So it goes down to the lowest integer possible, which will be the whole number that you have as part of your answer. So in this case, our answer, when we use the normal division, is 1.0625. And if we use floor division, we expect to get 1 as our answer because it will just eliminate the fractional part, and there we have it, 1. You can use another example. Let's say you have 3 divided by 2, which we know is 1.5. Using the normal division, the answer is 1.5. There you have it. But now, if you use floor division, the answer will change. It will floor this, and it will take it to 1. So just eliminates whatever comes after the decimal. It just gives you the integer part of the answer. That is floor division. And the next operator that I'm going to talk about is the modulus operator. So modulus, and this is given by the percentage sign. And here's what we're going to do. We found out that you can actually have part of 16 and 17, and we know that for sure. And if you do that, there's a remainder of 1. So 16 goes into 17 one time, and there's a remainder of 1. That is what the modulus operator does. It gives you the remainder. So if we say h underscore 2 modulus h underscore 1, then we expect this to give us the remainder. And the order is the same order that you'd use if you were dividing. So always start with the bigger one if you want to find the remainder in the order of division. So just follow the order of division. If you look at that, it gives you 1. We can use another example. Let's say we had 4 and 10. So we know that 4 goes into 10 2 times, but there's a remainder of 2 because you can only have it up to 8, leaving 2 behind, and that is the answer over there. The modulus operator gives you the remainder. You can also write that in brackets. And the last operation that I want to talk about is the exponent. So how can we find 2 to the power of 2 in Python? The way that you do that is you put 2 asterisks next to each other, and you have the power on the other side. So this is the base, and this is the power. So you can write that, exponentiation, and you have 2 asterisks. And this is how you do it. So 2 to the power 2, you read this as 2 to the power 2. And that would be 4. You can change this, 3 to the power 2, that is 9. You can also use the ages. I haven't used these in a while now. So h1 to the power h2, or you can say h2 to the power h1. You can swap it around. It's quite a big number. And you can use any variable that you want, or you can use any value. So this is how you do mathematical manipulations in Python. You have all of these things to play with, and you can use Python as your calculator. You can use it to do whatever it is that you want to do. And that is all in this video. I just wanted to go through arithmetic operators and how you can use them in Python. So if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.